right.
We're in the winning business. If you ain't winning, you ain't got no damn business up in here.
Woo! One love, baby.
Yeah!
What's going on, y'all? It is Cop Pizzle, and we've got the Giants schedule. We've got the Giants schedule, and let's talk about it. Let's see what we think about it. So this is kind of my instant kind of reaction to this. I've tried to leave it best I could for the stream. Obviously we've known that the Broncos were going to be the team we were going to play week 1, but we've got official word on our schedule now. So we're gonna talk about this and see what we think. So first of all, instant reaction is this just feels a lot better of a schedule for the Giants than a year ago. I think the Giants are in a much better place this year than they were a year ago, and obviously I think they've got a better team going into this schedule. So here's my thoughts. So week 1, I got to be honest with you. To me, when I found out they were playing the Broncos week 1 at home, it just kind of deflated me a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a winnable game for the Giants. I would be more disappointed if we lost that game than I would be excited that we won it, if that makes any sense. Like, I just don't feel like the Broncos are in a place where they should be able to come to our house week 1 and take a win from us. Assuming, and all of this is assuming that we're healthy, okay? This is all 100% the Giants are healthy. I just don't feel like they're in a place that they should come in and just to beat us. So, although I'm not really that excited about the game, just because it's not really a rival, I do think it's a winnable game for the Giants, and I'm happy about that part. You know, I feel like it's a game the Giants can win. Week 2, Thursday night game against Washington. Now, I want to be honest. Look, I'm as real as it gets when it comes to a Giants fan here on YouTube, okay? A lot of other people out there giving you fake reaction, Pizzle giving you the real thing, okay? I don't love this. I don't love the week 2 matchup against Washington. Now, the Giants have owned Washington over the last few years. The same way the Eagles have kind of had our number and the Cowboys have had our number. We've had Washington's number. To catch them on a short week, more than likely both teams will be 100% healthy. You know, the fact that we got to travel to their place, you know, they're a good – look, Washington's a good team, and I'm not going to sleep on Washington this year. I'm just not going to sleep on them. So I think this gives them an advantage. What's going on, Big Blue and the Bronx? What's up, Nick the Wick? And what's up, everybody? I think this gives them an advantage that we play them on a short week. So that's going to be a tough game for the Giants. I make no mistake about that. That's a tough game. And to be quite honest with you, the Giants could some way escape 2-0 out of those first 2 games. They could get to that point. I'd be really excited. I think that's a tough matchup. I think that we can still beat Washington on that Thursday night. I just think it's a tough matchup. So week 3, home in Atlanta. For all you guys out there that were on or going nuts about the Adoree Jackson signing, that's where we're going to find out how good our secondary is, because, you know, Atlanta's not that great defensively. I don't really know how good they did as far as the offseason goes, picking up their defensive part, but as far as offense goes, now that they add Kyle Pitts to what they already have, like, we're going to need those. We're going to need our DBs. We're going to need our secondary to be good. And so that's your game where you're going to find out if you really like Adoree Jackson or not, that week 3 matchup against Atlanta. So that's a big one. Then we go on the road to New Orleans, week 4. Obviously, this game's a little bit different now that Drew Brees is gone. We don't really know how this Saints team's going to be. I still think they'll be okay. I'm just not sure that they're the same Saints of old. So it doesn't scare me as much to have to go to their place and play that team because we really don't know how good they're going to be. We don't know if they're going to be really good or they're really bad. Who knows what their QB situation is really going to end up being. You got to maybe think Jameson Winston, but, I'm just not concerned about going to New Orleans as I would be in the past. So then we go at the Cowboys on October 10th for a Sunday afternoon game, Week 5. I think it's a good time to play the Cowboys. I think it's going to be I got no problems with that. Going to be an interesting battle. I kind of like the fact that we're playing them on the road early in the season. I would rather play them at home later in the year when the games are probably – look, they're all meaningful, but it might mean a little more later in the year, and I'd rather have that home game. So Cowboys Week 5, look forward to a fun week of me and Mark Holmes and Michael Anthony Fitness going at it. Then we're at home for the LA Rams, Week 6, and just hopefully, who knows what the Rams are going to be now with Stafford. We don't know for sure. I think that game is a little interesting coming off the Cowboy game. So if the Giants start really good, if we take the first 5 games, if we go 4-1. Maybe 5-0, who knows? If we're there, then that game could be a little sneaky for us to play a Rams team. But the good thing about that game, or I feel like the advantage, is the fact you're taking a West Coast team like the Rams and having to make them have an early start time with the 1 o'clock start time. So that's a big advantage for the Giants, so that if they can start off hot in that game, we can win that game. I'd much rather play the Rams at that start time than later in the afternoon or have it be a night game. So that's the advantage for the Giants, playing a West Coast team earlier in the day. Then we go on the road, we stay at home again for the second week in a row, October 24th, to play the Carolina Panthers on a 1 o'clock start time. A lot of similarities with these teams. Rule was with the Giants, and obviously Gettleman was with the Panthers. We get Bradbury, and so there's a lot of, it's kind of weird how both these kind of teams kind of, have this feeling, of mixture of between the two. Obviously they have Sam Darnold now, so we don't know how good Carolina's going to be. I think they're going to be better than they were a year ago. So I don't think that that's necessarily an easy game for the Giants. But, I like the position and the Giants are compared to Carolina. I think we can win that game. But you kind of start out those first, 7 games. And we'll get to Kansas City, but those kind of the first half of the season, you're getting a mixture of good of home and away, and so I like those back-to-back home games for the Giants there in October. Then we go on the road for a big test on Monday Night Football. Love that it's on Monday Night Football. Piz will probably be streaming that game against Kansas City, and look, that's going to be a tough game for the Giants. That's going to be a game. Obviously we'll see where we stack up after the Carolina game as far as how good the Giants are. But if the Giants are rolling or they got a winning record and things are doing good and we get to Kansas City, that's going to be the game that's going to we're going to test ourselves and say, how good are we? Because obviously this team played in the Super Bowl, and we're going to find out how good the Giants are. So I'm excited that it's a Monday night game. I'm excited that it's on primetime. I'm not ashamed of this Giants team, so I'm good with them being on national television against a Kansas City team that's probably going to be really good. So I'm all for it, man. I want that smoke, and I welcome that challenge on Monday Night Football. Then the following week, we're going to be on a shorter week. Obviously, we play on Monday night. We play the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, it's a short week for the Giants, so that's a little bit of a disadvantage. But the same thing kind of goes with the Rams, where we get to play a Raider team who's going to be starting on a earlier in the day. So it's going to be a little bit earlier for the Raiders. That's going to be a disadvantage for them. So I like playing those West Coast teams early in the day. That's definitely going to be an advantage for the Giants. But that Raiders team, I think, is going to be a lot better this year. I think they're going to be a good football team. They're a tough team. I'm glad we're playing them at home instead of on the road. So, that's a tough matchup middle in the year, but you got to hope that you're going to be, in midseason form, hitting on all cylinders. So that little stretch of Panthers, Chiefs, Raiders, all teams that are going to be tough this year, because that Carolina team, they'll be tough for sure. Not as tough as in beat, but that's just the physicality of those teams. Those three matchups. I mean, they're gonna beat up on the Giants in just a physical form. So I think the Giants can do well against the Raiders. And then we get our bye week. And I don't know how some Giant fans feel. I feel good about this bye week kind of in the middle of the year. It's just kind of like, okay, we'll reset middle of the year, see where we are, and this will be truly a first half bye week, and then we can really start our second half of the year. And I like the fact, now we go on the road to play the Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Bucks, on Monday Night Football again. So it's interesting that we're playing both the Super Bowl teams on Monday Night Football. Maybe the networks are wanting to showcase the Giants, this and that. But the advantage to that is we're going to have a week to prepare, an extra week to prepare for Tampa Bay. Okay? Even though they get that home game there, that's a big advantage that we get that extra week. We took Tampa Bay and put them on the ropes last year and potentially probably should have won that game a year ago. I think this is a spot the Giants can win this game. I really do. I like the fact that we get that extra week. So, some of these other games, I'm not really sure how I feel, but on that Tampa game, man, you got to think extra week, assuming we're healthy, preparing for that team. You got to think the Giants on national television would want to come out and say, hey, we're for real. Kind of the same way against Kansas City. So I like the fact that they're giving the Giants that test. I think it's interesting. Then just after Thanksgiving, we play at home the Philadelphia Eagles. We don't even need to talk about how big those games are, how excited I am, to play the Eagles again. It's crazy to think, though, we won't even see the Eagles till after Thanksgiving. So it's going to be late in the year before we even get a chance to see the Eagles. We'll see, and seeing how they do the first half of the season, how we do will determine on how big that game is. Obviously, all your division games are big, but I think it's interesting that we play them after Thanksgiving. Then we go on the road to Miami, and that's going to be a really good game between the Dolphins and the Giants. I think both teams are super similar. They're almost carbon copies of each other. I think that's just going to be a really good football game. I don't know if the previous week against the Eagles will have an effect on how we play against the Dolphins. I have no problem with going on the road. I think the Giants would be fine going on the road to Miami. They would probably prefer to go on the road to Miami. It's not late in the year, but early December to go to Miami. So I don't think that hurts. The following week, the Week 14 matchup, I got to be honest, the December 12th against the Chargers. We'll see how good the Chargers are this year, but I hate that spot for the Giants. Can't stand this spot. I hate that it's a back-to-back road game. I hate that we've got to go all the way after traveling to Miami. We have to go all the way across country to play potentially a decent Chargers team. And then the fact of we're going to have the Cowboys the following week. That's a trap game if there ever was one for the Giants. That's a big trap game for the Giants. I mean, that Charger game is a game that your Mike Too Nice's, your Bobby Skinners, all the geeks out there will be bitching and moaning as to why the Giants lost that game. And the reality is, if you knew anything about real football or how the NFL works or how the schedule works, that Charger game is a super fucking trap game for the Giants. It just is. I mean, that's just bottom line, because, they'll be coming off of a tough road game against Miami, and then they'll have the Cowboys the following week, which will probably mean a whole lot, assuming both teams are good. So they may slip up against a Charger team. We'll see. I mean, it depends on how good the Chargers are. See if they're healthy. See if we're healthy. But I hate that spot for the Giants. Then we close the last four games out with a home, away, and a home. and we started off with the Cowboys, week 15. You know, the last 4 games, 3 out of 4 are NFC East games. I mean, you got to think that you kind of like that as a Giants fan, because if you're in a tight race with the NFC East division, you want to be able to kind of control your own destiny. And by controlling your own destiny is beating your NFC East foes. So I like the fact that the last 4 games, 3 out of 4 are NFC East teams. We're going to know how to compete against these teams. We're going to probably need to beat them to win the division. So I like that we get them late in the year. I like that we get 2 of them at home. I think that's big in itself. But we get the Cowboys. We'll see how both teams are health-wise. We'll see where they stack up. I don't think the previous week of playing the Chargers will affect the Giants. Obviously, the travel, maybe a day or 2 might mess the Giants up. But other than that, I think the Giants will be ready for that game. Then we go on the road. I was asking for this. I was asking on Twitter. I was tweeting to the NFL Twitter account that I wanted to play the Eagles on the road, on Christmas, because I wanted to break their little hearts on Santa's Day. And so, but December 26th, the day after Christmas, the Giants will go on the road to Philadelphia. I wanted to go to Philadelphia this year, but I don't know if I can go after Christmas. That's going to be kind of tough. I'll have to see if I can possibly make that work. But, December 26th, you got to think that game's going to mean something to the Giants. And so we'll have a chance to sweep the Eagles on that day. Then here's the thing. This Bears game, January 2nd, I don't know how good the Bears are going to be. Obviously, we need them to be bad because they help us out with the draft pick. But this Bears game, a sandwich spot between 2 NFC East games, the Eagles and Washington, this could be a trap game. This is where even if the Bears are bad, the Giants could come down a notch and fuck around, when they don't need to fuck around. But I don't think the Bears are going to be good in 2021 unless Fields just goes out there and blows it up, because I can't imagine they'll be good with Andy Dalton. Unless Fields just go out there and blows it up. That's on my, right now, it looks like a winnable game. But, again, if you know anything about NFL scheduling, anything about this, that's a trap game. You got to watch out for the Bears, okay? Because if they're not doing good and the Giants are, they may want to play spoilers, okay? At the same time, I think the Giants can win that game, even though. The addition of making a trap game is the fact that they go on the road. Okay, so you just hope the Giants keep their focus after the Eagle game and heading to their last game of the year, which will be Washington at home, early start time. Here's the deal. I love that we're playing Washington because, with the success that we've had against them, we should be able to win that game, assuming we're healthy. Okay? I know my take on the first matchup is a little different, but that's because of the Thursday night game. It's just a disadvantage for any team on the road to go on a short week on the road somewhere. So, but with that being a home game for the Giants, that kind of reverses the advantage and gives us an advantage, because if that game means a whole lot, I'd like to have that game at home. So I'm completely good with that. Now, so that's the schedule. Now, as far as primetime game goes, obviously we got the Thursday night game, week 2. Cool. Like I hate that we play. I mean, you got to play the Thursday night games, but I always hate that we got to go on the road for those games. I like the fact that we got 2 Monday night games. It's just we've got 2 Monday night games against really 2 good opponents, right? With Tampa Bay and Kansas City. And you got to think both of them teams are going to be really good. So, I kind of wish the Giants had one more primetime game, but I will say this, okay? Not sure if any other content creators have said anything, but remember this right now. I'll say this right now in the month of May. I have a feeling that last game of the year against Washington will be flexed into a Sunday night game. So I think the Giants could absolutely find themselves playing another Sunday night game, or at least another primetime game. So look, I'm sure we'll potentially stream some of these games like we did last year. For sure, the Monday night games. Although I tell you what, as far as going to some of these games, I could see myself going to Tampa. I've got a connection in Tampa Monday night. I could potentially make that happen. As far as let me see here, I could see myself. Boy, Miami would be a lot of fun. Miami would be a lot of fun to try to go to. I might have to pick one. I might have to pick either Tampa or Miami to go to that game. As far as a home game goes, it would probably be later in the year. I'd really like to go to that December 19th, a week almost before Christmas, to the Cowboy game. That would be a lot of fun, I think so. Assuming that there's no weird COVID shit going on. But yeah, that's the schedule. I'm good with it, guys. Like I said, I gave you guys kind of my instant, reaction to some games I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about that Washington game week 2. Not that we can't beat them. It's a short week. I'm concerned about obviously the Monday night games. Just see how we stack up against those Super Bowl teams. If the Giants are ready, then then those will be fun games. They'll be fun games. I'm definitely concerned about that Charger game, December 12th, week 14. That's a terrible, terrible sandwich. That's a terrible spot for the Giants to have to go on the road second week in a row. Don't care what anybody says. I think the Bears and the Bear game is super tricky because it's right in between two of your rivals. In fact, it's kind of a double sandwich. It's a double meter because we got the Cowboys, Eagles, and then they just sprinkle in the Bears, and then they finish with Washington. So that Bear game, you just got to wonder where the Giants' head's at in that. So, that's a sneaky one too, where, that's the one that I'm kind of concerned with. So I know that some of you guys might be surprised by that, but just my experience with playing some of these games as far as betting purposes. Look, if you bet on games, NFL games, you know how hard it is, and it's because the way the NFL schedule is, it's just super tricky. And you've got to be. Some of these teams just don't get up for these games. So I think the Giants, I'm not going to put a number on this. I'm not going to sit here and say, the Giants going to go, the Giants going to win 10, 11 games. Obviously, we got to stay healthy. Last year kind of showed me that once we lost Barkley, we kind of, we kind of changed a little bit as a team. So we got to, you don't know how healthy you're going to be throughout the year. But I'm excited about this schedule. This is a fun schedule. It's a good schedule. There's a couple, like I said, trouble spots. But this is a schedule that the Giants can do something with, get a winning record, get to the playoffs, and let's make some magic happen. So there's going to be some tests. There's going to be some good tests that if the Giants make the playoffs, here's the thing about this. If the Giants make the playoffs with this schedule, they will be battle tested. That's the best. I don't know if any other content creator is going to say that to you. Let Pizzle be the one saying, if the Giants make the playoffs through this schedule, they will be battle tested because, a team, the NFC East teams, those are always battles. We know what the Rams are going to be. We know the Rams are going to be competitive this year. We know Carolina is going to be a tough team just from a physicality point. We know Kansas City is going to be good. The Raiders have been were a pretty physical team last year. They just struggled defensively, but they were great offensively. We know Tampa Bay is going to be good. We know Miami is going to be good. I mean, Miami was a great team last year, just missed the playoffs, but they're going to be physically tough as well. We don't know about the Chargers. Obviously, the NFC's games, we're going to be battle tested. So whatever our record is, it really doesn't matter as long as we just get to the postseason. So that's my initial reaction, guys. I appreciate you guys checking it out and listening to it. I'm super excited about this. Selfishly, I wish we played the Eagles a little bit earlier in the year. I'm jonesing to play the Eagles, right? I know E-Rock was telling me to be careful what I wish for, but I really want to play them Eagles. So we'll have to wait till after Thanksgiving. We'll have to wait till after Turkey Day in order to make that happen. But But I like the first 5 weeks. We're going to get a matchup with Washington. We're going to get a matchup with the Cowboys. And then after that, all of our NFC East games will be later in the year pretty much. And so yeah, I mean, I like our schedule. I got no complaints. I love that our bye week falls on week 10. I love that it's in the middle. I think that's a perfect time for a bye. You know, kind of gives you that first half, second half feel. So, anyways, let me know in the comments of this video what you guys think of the schedule. If you guys like it, and we will be back with more content. The season's getting close. We've been through the draft now. We see what the schedules look like and start mapping out some things. And now it's all about just getting to training camp, hoping everybody stays healthy, hoping this team develops into what we think they can be. The biggest thing for the Giants in 2021, I would love to win the Super Bowl. I understand the Mike Too Nices, the geeks of the world, are going to have huge expectations for the Giants so that they can just be clowns and then complain about Dave Gettleman, complain about this. They're clowns and they need to just fucking honk their nose, okay? For me, the Giants making the playoffs, getting to the dance is good enough for Pizzle, because if we can get to the playoffs, that shows progress, that shows that we're ready. And at the same time, if we get to the playoffs with this schedule, I think it means we're a good football team, no matter what our record is. No matter what our record is. So I'm excited, guys. We're getting close. We're getting ever so close. So I hope you guys like it just as much as I do. Man, I can just feel it. You feel your blood? You feel your fucking blood pumping? Do you feel it? You just got big blue just pumping inside of you right now. It's just getting closer and closer, man. And so I'm just so damn ready to see these Giants get back on the field, get to kicking some ass again, being a competitive football team. I had a lot of fun last year just because we were competitive. We were in the mix. I understand our record wasn't good, but we were in the mix. And now it feels like we can actually make a decent run with the team that we got because of the things that we've picked up this offseason. Thank you, Dave Gettleman. Thank you, Joe Judge. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are. And we'll be seeing you guys. Love you guys. Peace.